people, it's finally time. We have made it all the way to the finals of the Battle Hub Draft League Season 3. Only 2 teams remain. And would you look at that? According to the rankings, as expected, at least according to tradition, Scorpion has indeed made it to the finals. But it's not the best, and it's not Bnard, and it's not Raymon. We got to go all the way down to the true dark horse, it would seem, Team Aquamarine, led by Anastasia. Congrats to them both. As you can see from the bracket screen here, Scorpion was able to take on Raymon with that shell smash sweep, with a little bit of luck with paralysis miss. And then Bnard versus Anastasia. Man, poor Bnard. It just wasn't his day. Let's just say Axe was coming in for him too. But Anna also played very well. They both played very well. And now we've got the top 2 teams here in the finals: Scorpion versus Anastasia. With that, we're going to pass it to Bnard. Our lovely 2 commissioners here. We've also got, should introduce them as well. We got Captain Bnard and Brandon, if you guys just want to introduce yourselves real quick, and we'll talk about the matchup.
Yeah, you know who we are. BHDL's #1 analyst, Captain Bnard back, and your boy Brandon P.
The most unbiased person in the entire BHDL, or at least I try to be.
Absolutely. All right, Cap, what have you got for us?
All right, so yeah, it's all come down to this, guys, right? So the final match here, and yes, I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. Now we have our finals match of Scorpion versus Anastasia. And so on the one side, it's 2 very different stories, right? So on the one side, you have Scorpion, which pretty much all of us at the outset when we started the playoffs and we looked at these 2 brackets and how everything would kind of shake out, basically all of us thought the finals were going to be Scorpion versus someone, right? That was pretty much always what we had thought. And that's really saying a lot because obviously the reigning 2-time champion Raymon was in Scorpion's bracket. So pretty much all of us, aside from myself, predicted that Ray would finally fall, and finally fall he did to Scorpion. He became the one man able to eliminate Raymon from the BHDL, so give him all the credit in the world for that. And obviously, this goes without saying with Scorpion being the #1 seed this season, but he's been on absolute fire, on an absolute tear pretty much this entire season, has suffered virtually no setbacks this entire season, aside from a little hiccup in, I think it was week 2, I want to say, and then also in the final week when it didn't really matter anymore. But other than that,
Brandon still did it though. He still did it.
Yes, he did. That is true. I will not take that away from him. But yeah, aside from those setbacks, Scorpion's been on a pretty big hot streak this entire season. Obviously, we talked about his team a lot, so we don't really need to talk about it too much. But he has what we all consider to be the most offensive team in the entire league. Of course, just boasting extreme amounts of firepower with the stuff like the Iron Valiant, the Iron Crown, the Shell Smash Torterra, which obviously was finally the implement of Ray's undoing in that last game at the end. But also stuff like the Thunderous and just basically just about everything on the entire team is capable of applying a lot of offensive pressure, which is just something that he's made great use of all season. But of course, he's got his defenses too. He's got his utility as well. And he has a lot of unpredictability in his offense and his team, right? So the point that I'm driving at here is that pretty much this whole season, it's felt like Scorpion has been one of, if not the favorite to win this entire thing this time around. And obviously the results speak for themselves at this point, him being in the finals, as we pretty much had all expected. So that's kind of the one story of his path to get to the finals. Then on the other side, of course, you have Anastasia. So I think when you looked at that playoffs bracket, you could have seen probably any one of those 4 teams making it to the finals, hypothetically. But it turned out to be Anastasia, who has been quite the mold breaker this season, because in order for her to get to finals, she actually had to defeat 2 teams that not only had better records than her, but also 2 teams that had defeated her in the regular season, one of which being myself, of course, in the semifinals. So She has certainly earned her spot in this finals. There's no question about that in my mind. And she boasts what many of us have called the most well-rounded team in this entire league season. Of course, with stuff like the Dragapult, the Incineroar, the Gyarados, of course, the defensive prowess of stuff like the Clodsire Corviknight combination, and of course the Meloetta, which is quite unpredictable, as I found out the hard way. But yeah, she has played exceptional this season. Particularly in these playoff games, I think she's really stepped it up and definitely has earned her spot, as I said. So, but if you guys would care to weigh in more on this game, Emerald, be my guest.
Yeah, I'll pass it to Brandon first, but I definitely think that you encapsulate a lot of my thoughts as well. Yeah,
fair enough.
Like I was telling Anna the other day, she's pretty much on her real life Ash storyline at the moment. Because for those of you who watch Journeys, at the end of Journeys, for Ash to even face Leon, he had to take on Steven, who was number 3. And in this case, it was Captain B-Nard, who was 3rd in the league. And then Ash also had to beat Cynthia, who in Anna's case was the best, not really. And now she has to take on her Leon, which is Scorpion. So I feel like this is a pretty nice storyline. I really like when the storylines are there, especially considering also like Ash. Anna was, she wasn't 8th, but she was 7th, which, hey, close enough. I'm just saying this all to say I really like the storylines here. But like I've been saying since week 1, I always thought she was going to more than likely make it to playoffs. And then same with Scorpion, just because Scorpion, like Captain B-Nard said earlier, Scorpion's team is pretty much the most offensively potent team in the league. And it's proven that time and time again with multiple 4-0, 5-0 victories. I'm not sure if he had a 6-0 this season. I don't think he did, but if he did, I wouldn't be surprised. And then Anna, something I like about her season is just seeing like the growth. With Scorpion, I've been able to see it like over 3 seasons, but with Anna, I've been able to see like a exponential amount of growth from like week 1 and how she prepped for the game with Captain B-Nard. Well, actually, I feel like the result from week 1 versus the result in the semifinals, that kind of just shows where the growth, like there was growth there, But I just think it's really like impressive just seeing how far she's came, considering this is her first draft. So just to be in the finals and looking like she could potentially win it, because either of these two teams could win on paper. It's just like, because this is going to be like to me, when I look at it, it's going to be like a battle of positioning, like who's going to have the better, who's going to position themselves better. And just the fact that they're both here, I just feel like it's like really cool, really impressive.
absolutely.
And yeah, what do you think, Emerald?
Yeah, well, speaking of like, the progress that she's made over the course of the season, I definitely agree with the Capt that I think she's definitely the mold breaker. But if you look at this record, I don't think that 5-4 really accurately represents how good of a player she is. Because if you look back at her losses, like week 1 versus Bnard, the battle versus Raymon, the battle versus Biradu, she's battling like top tier, like seasoned veterans. And not only that, she was playing those matches very, very well. She almost had Raymond at one point. It was just like one little thing that like got her, you know what I mean? And so for her to then come around to the playoffs, now she has a much better understanding. She's gained all that experience from those battles. And I feel like this playoffs Anna that we're seeing now is far superior to the one that she was already very good at the start of the season, but I feel like she's just gotten super stronger, and so I think that's why now she's the mold breaker. She's able to break the BHDL tradition of usually the higher ranked player always wins. But in regards to the match itself, I really think that this is almost like a battle of, the best offense is the best defense. Like it's like look at Scorpion's team and the sheer breaking power of like Terra, Eruption, Typhlosion, and Nasty Plot Thunderous, and Shell Smash Torterra, and Iron Valiant. Then you've got this just like pure defensive core of the Corviknight and the Clodsire and the Double Intimidators and the Screamtail. And don't sleep on Meloetta Spadef. I mean, that thing can run Assault Vest and be bulky as well. Which I was also surprised looking at the stats, believe it or not. Well, after the previous game with B-Nard, she's actually brought Meloetta to more games than Clodsire. She brought Clodsire 5 times, and she brought Meloetta 6, which I thought was interesting. But overall, in terms of this match, I think, just like you guys said, it's all going to be about positioning. I feel like this Terra Gyarados looked pretty scary into Scorp's team. But at the same time, this Shell Smash Torterra, if it gets in the right position, if it has the right Terra type, it can be pretty scary too. So it's really gonna. The other thing I'm really interested to in seeing their different playstyles, because I feel like Scorpion is very similar to me. It's get up the hazards, get in the sweeper, start sweeping. Anna is much more like a chess player. Like, I'm gonna position everything exactly how I want it. I'm gonna see my win con at the end, and I'm gonna map out how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna position all these mons, keep getting in ship, and like I really want to see this match because I just feel like it's gonna be so interesting seeing how their two playstyles come together. You know what I mean?
I do agree with that. Yeah, I think it is going to be a very interesting clash of playstyles here. I do think it's interesting. Just to note the fact that I think Anna is actually you heard it here first, folks, coining the term mold breaker for Anna. I think it exactly, and I think it's interesting because I think Anna is the first player to be in the finals in BHDL to have a lower record than to come into the playoffs with one of the lower records. You know what I mean? As we said, coming in at 7th and then being able to make it all the way to the finals. So yeah, but it's all about play style. It's all about positioning, and I think Will is going to have a lot to do with it too. And going back to Scorpion, I'm going to say, when it comes to Will, I think no one has had more Will this season than Scorpion. I'm just going to say that right now. Just the meticulous way he's gone about everything. You can tell that, and we talked about it last time, I think, but you can tell that him not making playoffs in season 2 because of a differential really affected him mentally, right? Because I think we all have a perception of ourselves and how good of a player we are in our heads, right? And so I think in Scorpion's mind, he might not think he's the best player, but he thinks he's certainly good enough to always make playoffs. And I can relate because that's the way I feel about myself, to be honest with you guys, is that when I didn't make playoffs in season 2 for very different reasons than him, it did affect me mentally as well, because I was like, I know I'm better than this, and I just have to do everything I can in order to prove it to myself next time around. And so I think it was a very similar mindset for him. He was like, especially for him in his case, being so close, losing by I think a differential of 1, I want to say, or something.
Yeah, going from first to out of playoffs.
Exactly. So, but this is even on him more because he's in the finals. I would say that it really affected him mentally, and you can really tell because of the. I don't think anyone's put more time into meticulously preparing for every game this season than Scorpion, and I think it really shows in the results. So, if this is a battle of willpower, I think Scorpion certainly has that battle won, because Anna, I almost feel like, obviously she wants to win and all that stuff, but I think nothing motivates an individual quite like defeat does. And Anna really hasn't had the failure, for lack of a better word, because she's not been in draft leagues before, right? So, and she's been competitive, obviously, big VGC player, but I think because of Scorpion in his past with this league, I think it really shows, and I think he really has the willpower game won here. Another thing I want to note about this matchup, and I guess then we'll get into predictions as to who we think is going to win it. I am going to say right here and now that there's one big reason that I'm going to say that I think Scorpion is going to be the one to win this game. And the big reason I say that is because if you look at Anna's team, I think that it is there are one too many passive Pokemon on the team. And when you're facing a hyper offensive team like Scorpion, they just need one opening on one turn with one Pokemon to do like one Shell Smash, one Swords Dance, like, just one nasty plot. That's all it's going to take. And then you're going to be in serious, serious trouble. So I think that if Anna wants to win this game, I think going the defensive route is the wrong way to go personally. And I think that just because of the fact that her team is much more balanced and defensive and utility based than Scorpion's is, pivot based as well. I think that all Scorpion is really going to need is just that one opening, and then he could just go nuts on the field. So, but I'm interested to hear who you guys think is going to win and.
Something interesting to note too. And speaking of the will, like having the will to win, something I find I personally find kind of funny whenever she tells me this. But Anna, I know she told me like she only had one goal this season, and that was just to see how good could she do. And now here she is in the final. So it's like, all right, there's the answer to your question. This is how good you can do. You can make it to the finals. Now, whether or not you win, it's just like you've been bringing up. Like Scorpion has that driving force, and I don't know what her drive is, like what's driving her to win. But I know she's still going to be it's going to still be a competitive game.
Absolutely.
But I do also agree with what you were saying, that Scorpion's team is so offensively threatening that if she were to allow too much passivity, he could take advantage of it. But at the same time, I do have to I just want to also point out that she's also good. I've also noticed that she's also been good in certain games this season at finding openings as well, because like Emerald was talking about earlier, that Terra Gyarados, there's been like a couple games where it just took her a turn, she got it in. Next thing you know, it did what it needed to do. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of split on this game at the moment. Even though I do feel like I could give the edge slightly to someone, but I'm gonna just go last. I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Emerald, what do you think?
I definitely know what you mean in terms of Scorpion's willpower, because if I didn't make it to the playoffs last season, I probably would have tried even harder than I did this season, honestly, just to prove myself. But I definitely feel like Anna's got some willpower going behind her too, because she picked up several losses this season, and so I feel like she really wants to be able to prove herself and like stamp her place in the league. But yeah, I feel like for both of them. And in terms of, like you were saying, like she's got some passive Pokemon. I feel like she doesn't typically, at least from what I've seen, we haven't seen all of her matches, footage from all the matches, but some of these Mons that she plays, like they don't always do exactly what you expect them to do. She's got that creativity angle. I feel like Scorpion, like I said, is very analytical, very calculated. This beats this because this. But Anna's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that, but in a way that you might not necessarily expect. You know what I mean? So I feel like if she can manage to throw Scorpion off his game and do something unexpected, then that's basically her edge. That's good. That's what's gonna be the thing to push her over the edge and maybe somehow get her in a position to win. But now I don't know if that it's going to be tough, because I feel like Scorpion is definitely going to be prepping a lot for this match and is going to try to also see all the different things that she can do. So it's really close, man. Like it's almost 50-50 for me, honestly. But yeah, what are you thinking, Brandon?
Mean, though, because I get what you mean, because something I can say about Anna that I've noticed about her, that I can say I've seen it that she can do in games and in like just mocks and stuff like that in general. She's really good about reading your read. So you could be trying to you could try to read her, but then she just reads you right back. But at the same time, she is taking on someone who, like you pointed out, is very analytical. So I just know their heads are going to be hurting during this game.
Yeah, it's going to be
I really wish that we could see like her perspective and like her process behind each move. That way we could see like both of them and like see. It'd be interesting to see like both of them, but probably only going to see one side.
All right, Anna, this is All right, listen up, Anna. This is your plea from the BHDL commissioners team. Please,
But we get some
please
commentary.
give us that Fontaine style. Give us that Fontaine style upload. We need it. We gotta
Listen,
hear
I
the
just-
thought process. We gotta hear what's going on.
Yeah, like honestly, I just want. I don't care about the quality. I just need to hear the commentary and like your insights. I feel like I
But
could
you
learn
have
a
to
lot
drop
from that
the camera.
personally. Yeah, you could
Yes,
drop
you
the
have to drop
camera.
the camera.
Because I'll hear what's going on. So I just need to know what's happening, like what your thought process is.
So one thing I do have to say, and when I said what I said about picking Scorpion to win, I stand by that. But I by no means think that it's going to be a blowout. I by no means think that that's a foregone conclusion either. That's how I see the game potentially going. But I think it is very close. Let me say that. And if I'm telling you guys who I want to win this game, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I would prefer to see Anna win this game. So that's who I'm rooting for. Simply for two reasons, actually. And this is kind of a sidebar, but one is because I usually like to root for the underdog, which I feel like Anna definitely going into this game is the underdog. I don't think it's by much, but I think for all the things that we talked about, I think that she has to be considered the underdog going into this game. But additionally, I will say, how do I put this? I'm not a big fan of the headline that reads "Guy who organized the tournament won it," if you know what I mean. So I know there's no like foul play or funny business or anything like that, but like obviously with Scorpion being the head of the BHDL, for me on a personal level, I'm just like I just don't want him to win just because he's the head of it. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
I know
it's
what
nothing
you mean.
personal
At the
against
same
Scorpion.
time, I mean, he only took it over this season. He's been battling 2 seasons and he hasn't made it. So
And let
I know what you mean.
And let me tell you, I felt the same way about when Biradu, and I like Biradu, nothing against him, but when he was the head of the league, I felt the same way. I was like, I just hope Biradu doesn't win. Nothing against him, I like him, but like I don't know, it's just a personal thing for me. I don't like the headline "Guy who ran the tournament."
We'll say I've rarely
but I
ever
will say
seen that
from-
happen. Being in multiple draft leagues, I've rarely seen that happen.
Yes, it is.
This
quite
might be a
uncommon,
first.
Yes, but I will say, yes, it could be. But I will say, to put a cap on that, pun intended, I will say I think whoever wins this match, regardless of who wins this, I will say for 100% certain they most definitely earned it.
Absolutely. What are you thinking, Brandon?
Yeah, I agree. Like, whoever wins, it's not going to be because of like pretty much whoever wins is not going to be because of a fluke. Like, the winner is going to have whoever wins going to have to really work for it. I'm kind of divided on. Yes, this is like a really close one for me to decide. Like to really pick who I think will win. I feel like both of them have the tools to win. Both of them have the skills to win, and both of them have proven it time and time again. But Anna, I am part of the commissioner's plea. Please, some commentary, some audio, something. Even if it's just the audio, we can just make Scorpion's video, please.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We can sync it
There
up.
you go.
And if it's just the audio, hey, just drop a mixtape. We'll listen to it.
Emerald's
Drop-
got editing skills. He can make it happen.
I can make it happen. Yeah. I mean, for me, I
Get
will
that
say
raw footage, and then you can mold it.
exactly my own personal bias. I mean, I definitely like. I've used a lot of the Mons on Scorpion's team. I've also used Dragapult in season 1. So in terms of that, I'm kind of split on that. I don't know, man. It's like 50-50 for me, man. I mean, I would
And I'm
truly,
the
if
only man
either
bold enough to make a prediction it.
I mean, I guess if I had to go with my gut tells me Scorpion takes it 51-49. But at the same time, I'm just like, Anna's the mold breaker. I could definitely see a universe in which she could win. I feel like in most of these matches I've been able to predict, but Anna just keeps on breaking the mold. It's crazy. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess it just leaves me.
I just really want to see this game, y'all.
If
Well, you only
I'm
have to wait a few more
going-
days.
Yeah.
It's coming up fast, people. It's coming up fast.
Let
Absolutely.
me see. If I have to go with my gut,
Got to make those predictions.
My-
That's what we're here for.
my
Make the hard
gut-
calls, you know?
I'm not gonna lie. As much as I would love to see Scorpion win it, because he's been putting in my opinion, so much work the past 3 seasons, my gut is telling me I should put my money on Anna. And if I'm being a fan, I gotta go with my gut. I'm gonna go with Anna.
No, absolutely.
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I'm decided.
I think we're all saying kind of the same thing too, though. It is very, very close to call. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just because I made my decision quickly, trust me, I could easily see Anna winning this. Like I said, I am actually rooting for Anna to win this, but yeah, I could certainly see this going either way. But I just think with everything with all the work that Scorpion's put in, that's kind of the thing that puts Scorpion over the edge for me is, well, it's kind of twofold. It's mainly the offensive pressure that the team can apply, but it's also combined with just how, like you said, how analytical he is and how he's meticulously prepared so well for every game this season. It's a lot for Anna to overcome. But I think to your guys' point earlier, what you said, I think if Anna wins, it's going to be because she has to surprise Scorpion. But I think if Scorpion wins, he's going to have to overpower. But yeah, I'm like you guys. I'm very interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah,
So
I know what you mean,
it could
because
certainly go either way.
looking at the matchup, listen, if it were any other player besides Anna, I would give it to Scorpion. You know, just the sheer offensive pressure, like you said, that they're putting out. But the fact that Anna, I just feel like she's able to find like the one scenario, the one universe where she knows that she's able to beat the opposition, and once she finds it, then she's going to stick with that. I feel like she might find it, and it's going to be up to Scorpion to counteract her countermeasures. You know, well, that's draft for, you know what I mean? So it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
100%.
But I will say one
Yeah.
thing though. If Scorpion loses this game, whenever season 4 of BHDL comes around, if you see him on your schedule, just go ahead and put an L beside you. Just go ahead and put an L for that week. Just go ahead. Put an L for that week.
Yeah, he's gonna be a dangerous man if he. Although, you know, I think he's, again, much like me, to kind of compare, because we kind of both had similar journeys. So I think we might have had a similar mindset. I think he's pretty satisfied. I'm not going to say that he doesn't, you know, care anymore, because of course he does. But I think he's pretty satisfied. Like, I don't think he would be upset with himself if he lost. You know what I mean? Because I don't think either of these coaches will be too disappointed if they lose, because I think they both feel like they've proved their worth this season by making it this far. And if that's the case, I do agree. I think they've both obviously more than proved themselves by just getting to this level. And, you know, because it seems like this league is ultra competitive, and it just feels like it's getting more and more competitive every season. It's a lot to keep up with. So if you're the players that wind up on the top of that pile, you most certainly are.
Yeah, for me at least, I definitely felt like the pressure come off when I made it to final season 1. Like I was satisfied with that. So I'm sure that both of these players probably feel pretty good. You know, so, but like you said, it's going to be about that willpower. Who has, because I kind of lost the willpower once I was tired after season 1. So whoever has that staying power, that's who's gonna win it.
That's why I give the edge to Scorpion, man. So that's the X factor, and that's why I got it. At the end of the day, I give it to him. But yeah, I think that's about all I got to say about it, to be honest with you.
All right, sounds good. Brandon, any other closing thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think I said about everything I had to say.
All right, gang. Well, that's it for this season, folks. All that's left is this one last match, and they will receive the well-coveted Scarleton bag, and we'll see you guys there. Peace.
Later.
Paper.